Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moments. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of upcoming episode of Soul Land 3 Legend of the Dragon King Part 5 based on novel. So let's start. If I left one day, would you miss me? Enea asked as she raised her head to look at Tang Wulin. Her petite face was even more fairy-like under the splendor of the moon and stars. Tang Wulin dumbly asked, "Why? Are you going to leave?" Enea pouted, "I'm just asking if I leave." Tang Wulin replied, "You're my little sister. Of course I would miss you. I would really, really miss you." Have you grown a bit taller, Enea? You're nearly up to my nose now. I'll miss you too. I'll really, really miss you. Enea gave an answer beside the point. Her large purple eyes seemed to contain a hazy layer of water. Tang Wulin happily embraced her by her shoulders. "We're together every day, so we don't have to miss each other. I've already talked it over with Mom and Dad. Once I've entered an intermediate academy, you'll be coming with me to attend an academy in the same city. Big brother will always protect you." Silently, the radiance in Enea's eyes dimmed and she rested her head on Tang Wulin's shoulder. Early morning. Tang Wulin got up especially early and ate a smaller breakfast than usual today. Seeing the eager shine in his son's eyes, Tang San couldn't help but smile. "Aren't you awfully impatient? There's no need to be so eager. Even if we went early, the spirit pagoda wouldn't be open." For Tang Wulin, today was a very special day. Today was the day he was going to buy a spirit soul. "Dad, what kind of spirit soul do you think I'll be able to buy?" Tang Wulin was only a 9-year-old child. He had been working his hardest all for this day, and now that the day had finally come, how could he possibly be calm? Tang San revealed a slight smile. "How would Dad know? But no matter what kind of spirit soul you get, you'll still be promoted from a soul scholar to a soul master. Then you'll truly be a soul master. The gap between you and ordinary people will grow even larger." Tang Wulin excitedly nodded his head. However, he had overlooked something in his father's tone. As Enea watched Tang Wulin impatiently pulling his father out of the home, her pretty eyes displayed a perplexed look. She knitted her eyebrows, as if deep in thought. "Dad, walk a bit faster. Let's hurry up," Tang Wulin urged as he practically skipped ahead. Tang San couldn't help but shake his head while the deepest depths of his eyes revealed his worries. Obtaining a suitable spirit soul couldn't possibly be that easy. Just because he could buy one didn't mean he was able to buy a suitable one. The spirit pagoda's reach spread throughout the continent. Not only was it present in the Doluo continent, it was even able to spread to the other two continents several thousand years ago. 10,000 years ago, the remnants of the Heaven-Do Empire after its defeat at the hands of the Sun-Moon Empire had embarked on a voyage and had experienced many hardships and perils. In the end, they discovered a huge continent which also had some indigenous humans. However, their development couldn't even compare with the Doluo continents. They were conquered by the Heaven-Do remnants and the continent was named the Heaven-Do continent. On the Doluo continent, the conflict between the Sun-Moon Empire and the Star-Luo Empire was never-ending. While the Sun-Moon Empire rapidly developed, the Star-Luo Empire gradually declined. Instead, they chose to take a different route. The Star-Luo Empire decided to invest in seafaring technology. Thanks to their research, they were able to discover another large continent which was followed by a quiet occupation shortly afterwards. With the whole continent taken, the Star-Luo Empire migrated the whole empire over along with their many resources and named it the Star-Luo continent. Afterwards, the Star-Luo Empire also changed to a federal system and became the Star-Luo Federation. The Sun-Moon Empire was able to unify the Doluo continent and became the Sun-Moon Federation. The Spirit Pagoda had a 10,000-year history. Due to their importance to soul masters and their groundbreaking research into artificial spirit souls, their status had risen dramatically to its current state. Throughout the 3 continents, they were the strongest power. Glorybound City also had a Spirit Pagoda branch located in the heart of the city. It was a 3-layer pagoda. This was the lowest rank possible for a Spirit Pagoda branch. A mid-sized city would have a 7-layer spirit pagoda branch. Major cities would have a 13-layer spirit pagoda branch. However, the spirit pagoda headquarters was situated in Shrek City. The headquarters had gone through many renovations over the years and it now had 80 layers. It was said to be the most magnificent building on the Dolor continent. In regards to Tang Wulin, the 3-layered pagoda in front of him was already a holy land. This spirit pagoda branch was the largest building in Glory-bound City. Everybody knew where it was, but few had ever entered it. When they arrived, the spirit pagoda's doors were already wide open, yet there weren't too many people there. After all, this was a place for soul masters. With Glory-bound City being as small as it was, there were simply too few soul masters. After Tang San brought his son into the spirit pagoda, Tang Wulin's eyes constantly fluttered all about his surroundings. He was very curious about this fabled place. The spirit pagoda was shaped like an octagon with 3 floors. The interior was very spacious and the marble floor carried the symbol of the spirit pagoda. Inside the huge hall, there was a circular door which led to an unknown location. There was a reception counter in the front with an ashen-robed soul master seated behind it. The soul master had already stood up by the time the two of them arrived in front of the counter and was inspecting Tang San. "Hello, may I ask what you're here for?" Tang San respectfully greeted, "Hello, Lord Soul Master. I've brought my son to buy a spirit soul. His martial soul has reached the 10th rank." Once he heard this, the soul master's enthusiastic expression clearly dampened a bit as Tang San wasn't a soul master. "Do you have enough money?" he unenthusiastically asked. Tang Wulin scrambled over. "Enough. I have enough." The soul master said, "What rank of spirit soul do you want to buy?" Somewhat embarrassed, Tang San answered, "Lord Soul Master, we're not quite knowledgeable about these things. Could we possibly inconvenience you to explain this to us?" The Soul Master impatiently said, "You don't know about this yet, you've still come. For such a small city like Glory-bound City, the Spirit Pagoda only offers 3 types of spirit souls. 10-year white spirit souls, 100-year yellow spirit souls, and random spirit soul selection. There are 73 10-year white spirit souls and 1100-year yellow spirit souls to choose from. The price of a white spirit soul is 70,000 coins, while yellow spirit souls are 1 million coins. Which one do you want to buy?" Tang Wulin was stunned at his words and nearly lost his voice as he asked, "Lord Soul Master, aren't spirit souls 30,000 coins? How could it be?" The Spirit Master shot him a glance. 30,000 is for a random spirit soul. You can get a 10-year spirit soul, or a 100-year spirit soul, but what you get is random. There's a very high chance that the spirit soul you get won't be suitable for your martial soul. Some people who want to save money and bet on luck would choose this type. However, I suggest that you get a suitable 10-year spirit soul instead, it'll be much more helpful." From their tone of voice, it was clear to the Spirit Master that this father and son pair weren't people who were able to purchase a 100-year spirit soul. Tang Wulin looked over at his father. His original excitement had already been obliterated completely. Tang San crouched down to face Tang Wulin. At that moment, he had all sorts of feelings swell up in his heart, but he didn't know what he should say in this situation. "Son, let's choose a random spirit soul then. Your martial soul's adaptability should be very high and it should be able to fuse with most spirit souls." If Tang Wulin didn't have the trash martial soul of blue silver grass, Tang San might not have opted to take this risk. However, blue silver grass truly didn't have too much room for improvement. So being able to cultivate it to the 10th rank was already a surprise. "I must warn you." The Spirit Master's voice caught the attention of the father and son pair. He indifferently continued, "It's possible to obtain a 100-year spirit soul from the random spirit soul selection, but it's also possible to obtain a defective spirit soul." Tang San asked in bewilderment, "Defective spirit soul? How could they be defective?" The Spirit Master said, "When a spirit soul is being manufactured, it won't necessarily succeed every single time. Sometimes, defective ones may appear. The defective ones are also very expensive to manufacture and they can also be fused with too. So we include it in the random selection. If we didn't and just left it as all white and yellow spirit souls, wouldn't the losses outweigh the profits? It would seem that 30,000 federal coins is quite a bit for you too, so you must think about this thoroughly. Tang San looked at Tang Wulin and saw the lifeless look in his eyes. He had never thought that after all the effort he had put in these last 3 years, he would still be faced with this kind of situation. Son, how about we first go home? Dad will help you think of an idea. If there's no other way, we can borrow some to try to gather up 70,000. Tang San saw his son's appearance and couldn't help feeling his heart ache. Tang Wulin shook his head. Dad, you and Mom already tire yourselves out for me every day. And anyways, my martial soul is only blue silver grass. I'll just try my luck and see if the heavens care about me then. Maybe I'll get a decent spirit soul. His eating capacity had increased by a lot ever since his martial soul had awakened. What's more, Enea also had a large appetite despite her petite frame. For a household living on a salary, it was already quite difficult for Tang San and Lang Yu. All the good things were already given to the children to eat. The husband and wife weren't even willing to eat meat. The children of the poor had to take on household responsibilities at a young age. To Tang Wulin's eyes, his household was already struggling hard enough as it is. How could he possibly let them strain themselves further to borrow money for him? His mom and dad worked very hard, so he wanted a strong spirit soul to become a renowned and powerful soul master. Although becoming a powerful soul master was important to him, his mother, father, and Enea were much more important. He really is a thoughtful child. When the somewhat impatient spirit master heard what Tang Wulin said, his expression couldn't help but soften a bit. Sigh, Tang San's sigh was full of bitterness. It's all because Dad is useless. Tang Wulin held his father's hand, then looked towards the spirit master and asked, Lord Spirit Master, could I trouble you to take me to select a random spirit soul? Saying this, he took out the 30,000 federal coins he had saved up. The spirit master nodded and said, You really are a sensible child. Much better than my family's stinky kid. Originally, you would have had to pay a fee for the spiritual power examination, but I'll help you out and exempt you from the fee. Tang Wulin stared blankly at him before hastening to say, Thank you. I really am thankful to you. The spirit master laughed as he rubbed his head. Follow me. Your father will wait here. Ordinary people can't look into the world of soul masters. The room he brought Tang Wulin into was different on the inside compared to its simple and unadorned outer appearance. It was brimming with modern technological apparatuses that were arranged about the room. The spirit master gestured for Tang Wulin to sit down on a metal chair before he began speaking. Do you know why we test spiritual power? Tang Wulin blankly shook his head. The spirit master explained, This is your first time coming to choose a spirit soul. After fusing with a spirit soul, you'll become a true soul master and the spirit pagoda will make a record of your spiritual power's strength, the level and type of spirit soul you fused with, and other things. You'll most likely attend an intermediate soul master academy later on. Tang Wulin responded in amazement. Lord Spirit Master, spiritual power also has ranks. Like soul power? Is spiritual power very important? The Spirit Master answered, For normal soul masters, spiritual power isn't too important. It's also divided into ranks, but it isn't divided the same way soul power is. However, when it comes to high-level soul masters, the strength of their spiritual powers becomes much more significant. A strong spirit soul requires spiritual power equally as strong to fuse with. Before the existence of spirit souls, there weren't any ranks for spiritual power at all. But when spirit souls first appeared, the previous generations gradually realized that fusing with a spirit soul required much more spiritual power than fusing with a spirit ring. After extensive research, they created the rankings for spiritual power. It was only in the last 2,000 years or so that the rankings were completed. Tang Wulin inquisitively asked, Then how many levels is spiritual power divided into? The Spirit Master responded, From low to high, spiritual power is divided into Spirit Origin, Spirit Connection, Spirit Sea, Spirit Abyss, Spirit Domain, and the fabled Divine Origin. These 6 realms are quite simple. Everyone is in the Spirit Origin realm when they are born. As for the meaning behind spirit origin, it means that it's the single origin everyone starts from. Afterwards, nature takes on a new look. This is the most basic of soul levels. You should be at this level. As for the rest, you'll learn it in school, so I won't speak of it. Alright then. I'll start testing what degree of spirit origin you've reached. A metal helmet fell onto his head. Then, metal arms linked together and strapped his head in. Don't be so tense. Relax your body. You might feel a bit of vertigo in a bit, that's normal. You just need to stay relaxed. The spirit master repeatedly warned. Yes. Tang Wulin hastily promised. A slight humming noise arose as the helmet began to emit a soft white glow. The spirit master watched the soul transmitter screen on the side as the screen began to display data. When the numbers first appeared, they jumped up extremely quickly. After a moment, the numbers gradually stabilized. When the spirit master saw the number, his expression changed to one of astonishment. The numbers stopped increasing after a moment and settled within a range. The spirit master turned off the apparatus and took off the helmet. It's done. Tang Wulin really did feel dizzy, even though he had previously only felt a slight irritation in his head. He had once seen the indistinct sight of the golden world of fused spirit souls, and now, during the test, he had once again managed to see it. He had to put in a lot of effort in order to see it clearly, and when he almost succeeded to clearly glimpse it, the test had already ended. It's a pretty good number. The spirit master nodded and smiled at Tang Wulin. You have the best spiritual power out of all the soul scholars I've had these past few years. Your spiritual power is 38. Remember this number. I'm going to have the machine make a record for you, so you can hand it over once you attend an intermediate Soul Master Academy. As he was unclear about the boundaries of the spiritual power system, Tang Wulin also wasn't clear about the significance of having a spiritual power level of 38. Seeing Tang Wulin's perplexed expression, the spirit master kindly explained, spirit origin realm can be ranged between level 1 to 50 spiritual power. Levels 15 and below are elementary ranked. Levels 15 to 30 are intermediate ranked. Levels 30 to 45 are advanced rank. Levels 45 to 50 is the peak of spirit origin. You've already entered spirit origin realm intermediate rank at such a young age, that isn't easy at all. I'm a 28th rank soul grandmaster, yet my spiritual power is only at level 87. With spiritual power in the advanced rank of spirit origin realm, you'll be able to fuse with a 100-year yellow spirit soul. This good news caused Tang Wulin to immediately brighten up a bit. What's more, the spirit master's explanation of spiritual power had enabled him to see another magnificent side to the world of soul masters. If you accept, then we'll see just how good your luck is. The spirit master brought Tang Wulin directly into an adjacent room afterwards. Inside of this much larger room, there was a 3-meter-tall, 6-meter-wide gigantic machine. Numerous glowing spheres with a diameter of about 1/3 of a meter could be seen within it. Each and every one of these balls of light were exactly the same. The spirit master pointed at 2 buttons on the machine and said, the green button is to start, the red button is to stop. After stopping, the spirit soul at that location will roll out. You may begin whenever you're ready. Tang Wulin's heartbeat couldn't help but quicken in front of this odd machine. Teacher Lin Shimeng had said before that the quality of a spirit soul played a significant role in a soul master's strength. Fusing with a strong spirit soul would help a soul master upgrade their own power. On the other hand, if they fused with a weak spirit soul, the spirit skill bestowed upon them would be equally weak. A soul master could have a maximum of 9 spirit skills. Although it was exceedingly rare for someone to reach 9 spirit rings, this just made the lower level spirit skills that much more important. What is to be, will be. Tang Wulin clenched his teeth, then bravely pressed the green button. A succession of lights within the machine immediately began to shine, until every single ball was illuminated. The 100 or so spirit souls within the machine slowly began to circulate. Not too long after, it reached a shockingly fast speed, giving off the feeling of being too much for one's eyes to take in. The spirit souls were all concealed from the outside world by the spirit soul ball. Nothing of the inner contents could be discerned by the eye. The result could only be left up to the will of the heavens. Tang Wulin's hand rested upon the red button. Although he could normally hold a 40-kilogram thousand refined tungsten hammer with steady hands, at this moment his hand had a slight tremble to it. He knew that as soon as he pressed the button, his fate as a soul master would be sealed. After breathing in forcefully, he shut his eyes and finally pressed the button. Bang! The machine stopped circulating and a pure white spirit soul ball fell out of the machine, tumbling into the metal case beside Tang Wulin. Tang Wulin subconsciously opened his eyes and turned to look. At that moment, his heartbeat was beating like a drum. The spirit master walked over, took out the spirit soul ball, and handed it to Tang Wulin. Come on. Take a look. Tang Wulin gasped for breath as he held the ball close to his chest. He looked at it as if it was the most precious treasure in the world. I finally have it. This is my first spirit soul. After Tang Wulin tensely returned to his father, the spirit master handed him an oval-shaped device. When you press this button and shine the device's light upon the spirit soul ball, your spirit soul will break out of its shell. After releasing the spirit soul, its power will belong to you. Not even speaking of Tang Wulin's nervousness, Tang San couldn't possibly clench his fists any tighter from the anticipation of that moment. What would the result be? Tang Wulin looked at his father. In return, Tang San gave him a nod brimming with encouragement. At the push of the button, a gentle yellow light was released from the device and fell upon the spirit soul ball. The spirit soul ball reacted by emitting a faint radiance, then slowly turned transparent. The contents within could already be vaguely seen. Tang Wulin could clearly sense the breath of the being within the spirit soul ball when it made a slight movement. What is it? The radiance emitted by the spirit soul ball turned white at that moment, and in its center, the brilliance of a shining ring was seen. The spirit soul ball slowly unfurled from the center outwards. When he saw the white light, the spirit master explained from the side. It's a 10-year spirit soul. Tang San's expression darkened. In the end, the heavens didn't care for his son. 100-year spirit soul worth over 1 million coins simply wasn't that easy to obtain. Tang Wulin's gaze was fixed on the spirit soul ball that slowly opened up. His first spirit soul would be a 10-year spirit soul, but what kind would it be? The white light began to dissipate as the spirit soul ball opened up completely. The spirit soul inside had appeared at last. As soon as he saw it, the spirit master's expression changed a bit. Tang San and Tang Wulin were both dumbfounded. The spirit soul was actually within the white spirit soul ball. A little fellow was quietly crawling. It really was too tiny, measuring only about 10 centimeters in length and was about as thin as a child's finger. Its body was an earthen yellow color, and if you looked at it closely, a tiny rhombus-shaped scale could be seen. This is a spirit soul. Tang San raised his head and looked towards the spirit master as he asked with a dubious voice. Nearly everyone would recognize what this tiny thing was. This was because it was the commonly seen grass snake, type of harmless, small animal. Although it was a type of snake, it was definitely the weakest of its species. A fully grown grass snake would be about 20 to 30 centimeters in length and about as thick as a finger. It would only be able to feed on some puny insects. If it was to be described in the simplest of words, only 4 were needed. Harmless human-raised livestock. Ever since his martial soul awakened and he found that he possessed spirit power, Tang Wulin had countless fantasies as to what his first spirit soul would be. He fantasized that after combining his martial soul with a spirit soul, his martial soul would improve and become powerful. It would bestow upon him a dazzlingly powerful spirit skill, and he would officially become a soul master. Fantasies were fine, but reality was cruel. Grass snake? This wasn't even a question of its strength, but whether or not it was actually a spirit soul. The spirit master was also staring blankly at this grass snake. He let out a gentle sigh and said somewhat bitterly, "When it rains, it pours. Child, your luck really is." He knew that artificial spirit souls were still reliant on the genes of the soul beast they were created from. As a result of the gradual extinction of soul beast genes had also unceasingly depleted. The researchers of the Spirit Pagoda had tried many times to use non-soul beast genes to create a spirit soul and see if the result was acceptable. The experiment was a success, but the fact was, the spirit souls made from those genes were pitifully weak. Basically, no one would be willing to buy them. Without a doubt, this grass snake was one of the defective goods he had spoken of earlier. What's more, it wasn't just any defective goods, it was a spirit soul that lacked the slightest bit of soul beast genes. This spirit soul occupied the 100th position in the spirit soul extraction machine, and there was a constant number of 100 spirit soul balls in the machine at all times. The spirit master sighed, then nodded his head. I'm certain that it's a spirit soul, but it's a weak spirit soul. The spirit soul has already been activated after its extraction, so you must fuse with it within 24 hours. If not, it will die. You can decide for yourself if you want to fuse with it. If you don't wish to, then you can return in the future to select another spirit soul. Tang San looked at his lifeless son and was barely able to suppress the pain in his heart. He held his son's shoulders and said, Lin Lin, let's go home. Tang Wulin remained silent as he began walking away. Wait a moment. The spirit master couldn't bear it anymore, and called out to them. You should renounce this spirit soul. Although it was a successful product of the experiments, but it's still, out of compassion, he still continued to explain the origin of this grass snake. Tang Wulin didn't know how he had gotten home, but he had been holding the spirit soul ball close to his heart the whole time. That grass snake spirit soul had a very lovable appearance and wasn't afraid of slithering out of the spirit soul ball at all. In fact, this kind of low-level spirit soul didn't have any sort of intelligence. Before fusing with a martial soul, it wouldn't even be able to react to its environment. Don't be sad, son. Dad will think of a way to make enough money. You can be relieved. I'll definitely be able to make enough money in a short period of time and help you buy a suitable spirit soul. Tang San's eyes flickered with a resolute light. For the sake of his son, he had steeled his resolve to face this matter head-on. Tang Wulin gently shook his head. Dad, I'm going to my room first. Sitting quietly to the side, Enea got up and followed Tang Wulin to their room. He sat on his bed and gazed at the spirit soul in his hands, then looked to his own calloused hands. In the end, tears began to stream uncontrollably down his face. Even after his martial soul had awakened, only to discover it was a trash spirit like blue-silver grass, he didn't cry. After all, he possessed spirit power. As long as he had spirit power, he still had a chance. His father had told him that his family's conditions weren't too good. Even when he was told that they had no money to buy a spirit soul for him, he still hadn't cried. His father had said before that one must take responsibility for one's own matters. He could earn the money himself, while also helping his parents. When he first arrived at Mang Tien's workshop and had to swing the hammer for 1,000 times, resulting in aching arms that desired to break and prevented him to even lift his arms to feed himself, he still hadn't cried. He had invested all of his efforts into it and had passed the test, giving him some more hope. As long as he had hope, then there was a chance that he could succeed. Countless liters of sweat had been shed as he continually forged every day for the last 3 years. When his classmates were at home playing, he would be pounding metal again and again. He would meditate for longer periods than the others, bearing through the pain and suffering, not shedding a single tear. He had smiled in the face of everything each and every day, and would always tell his parents to relax. But now, he cried. He had finally saved enough money after 3 years, and his spirit power had also reached the 10th rank. He was just about to succeed. 30,000 coins. All of his sweat had condensed into those 30,000 coins. In the blink of an eye, those 30,000 coins had transformed into this spirit soul with next to nothing in soul beast genes. All of his efforts were like bubbles that easily popped. All of his toughness, his strength, and his determination had been crushed in a moment and turned into tears. Drop by drop, they flowed. Teardrops dripped onto the spirit soul ball one after another, gradually soaking that tiny grass snake. The grass snake writhed a bit, as if enjoying the taste of the salty tears. A delicate hand extended towards him, intending to wipe away his tears. Enea stood in front of him with puffy red eyes. In this moment, it was as if their hearts were linked together. She could feel the pain and suffering in his heart in its entirety. Despair, sorrow, and all sorts of dark emotions lingered within Tang Wulin's heart. Tang Wulin wanted to cry out, but it was as if he was drained of all the strength necessary to scream at this moment. Big brother, don't cry." Without wiping away the tears, Nao went forward and brought his head into her embrace. Tang Wulin was choking on sobs as he cried, "Why? Why do the heavens treat me so unjustly? Even after all my efforts, there isn't a single opportunity for me to grasp. I want to become a soul master. I want to become a powerful soul master." This video will end here.